Okay, in this video we're going to discuss how to set up AVID, get it open, and get ready to edit from the field, and a couple things you need to remember when you're editing in the field disconnected from the internal network at the station. So the first thing we're going to do is I want you to understand, please do not have your SD card or card reader inserted in the computer before you open AVID. Do not do that. Please wait until AVID is open before we do that, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to open Media Composer, and then this window opens up, and what if you should select Private and then Field Editor. Now if your laptop is not set up with this option, please come see me so I can set this up as a field editor so that your settings are correct. And again, we want to keep everybody's the same so that if you had to use somebody else's equipment, it's all the same. So we want Field Editor, Private Field Editor. You don't have to log into Media Central since you're outside the building. Just click OK. And when this comes up, just hit Cancel. Now up here, if we select the project box, go to Windows, Workspaces, and if I've set this up for you, or you can set it up yourself, you should set up two different profiles. I have one MEJ Field, MEJ News 9. The difference is News 9 is what I have set up when I'm in the building, connected through my dock, and I have dual monitors. So if I click on that, I've got my production management. Now this is all set up for a dual monitor, so I'm going to have two monitors here instead of one. But I have everything I need inside the building. But when I'm not in the building, I don't need production management, and I don't need the NRCS tool and things like that. Plus you have a smaller screen to deal with, so it's nice to set up a second profile. And for me, I have MEJ Field, and if I click on that, now I have the boxes set up that I need to edit in-house, or in the field. And if I click on the editor bin, this bin, it's empty right now, but so it's the same as creating a new bin, and then I'm just going to fit it right here inside this area. And so for me, it keeps everything nice and neat and organized. Keeps everything nice and neat and organized so that you don't have to, you're not all cluttered. So I like having my setup like this. If you don't have it currently set up, set all the bins up and all the windows where you like them. So like this, or however you want to have it set up. And you go up to Windows, make sure the project's highlighted, go to Windows, Workspaces, and you can hit New Workspace. And if you hit that, you just name it. So your initials internal, your initials external, whatever distinguishes between inside and outside. And set your windows up, one for inside, one for outside, and then it's easy. As soon as you log in, you just go up here and just hit that workspace, and you are quickly ready to go. The other thing you need to keep in mind is sometimes, although we don't need to worry about dynamic relink and all those things, one thing you do need to make sure to check, and once you've done it the first time, it should stay that way, but media creation, just hit continue. And then over here over drive filtering and indexing, you need to make sure all these are unchecked. If these are checked here, then you won't have access to your C drive for consolidating, and then you have a lot of problems because you don't really want to edit off the card because AVID just doesn't like it. It creates a lot of errors and problems. So we're going to make sure those are unchecked, and like I said, after you've done it the first time, you don't need to do it again. So now we want to highlight the bin, which is right here, and now is the time where we want to insert our SD card or our SD card reader with the card already in it. And before we do that, one other setting I want you to know is under Link, Volume Mounting, Automatically Link to Volumes. Make sure that's checked. What that means is, and once you do it once, it should stay, but that means that once we stick our card in, SD card or whatever, it's automatically going to populate into the bin so that we don't have to use the source browser window. Insert my card. You'll see it notice my drive, it's detecting, and then it's whatever clips are going to automatically load into my bin. And so as you can see, if you look at these, you see these little dots beside the clip. That tells us that it's an AMA clip. And an AMA clip, if you're not familiar with AVID, just means this clip sits on the card. This is not, it's not consolidated, it's not on an internal drive, it's reading it directly from the card. And so if I double click on this, it should load in the window, and it does, and this was a training video I had done. So what you want to do is when you're in the field, you can rename these if you want, but since it's just you using them, it doesn't really matter. But we want to highlight all the clips, and then we want to right click over top the icon, and we're going to go to Consolidate Transcode. And when this pops up, you'll see C and D. Now D is your card, your SD card, so we want to consolidate to the C drive. Now normally we would turn these on and 16-bit, and this is how we're going to go. I don't know if this is going to work because normally we're shooting AVC Intro 50. The card I put in here was shot in AVC HD. We're going to see if this works. Normally I have to transcode, but if it works, we'll see. So consolidate, and all clips were skipped because it is not native to, it's not AVC Intro 50. But essentially you would that's how you would consolidate, is you would consolidate. But if you are shooting AVC HD for some reason, and I just grabbed this card because it was what was available, instead of consolidating, we will transcode. And what we would do is go ahead and convert these. You want it to go to AVC Intro 50. And then you also want, you don't have to, but you can create new clips or not create. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to go ahead and create new clips. And there's a reason why. So it mimics what happens when you consolidate. But actually what I want to do is I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find one of these that's short. So I may extend my bin. Looking for duration. 6. This is a short one. So I'll go with 006. So I'm actually just going to right click, and normally you would consolidate, you know, when you're shooting with one of our station cameras shooting AVC Intro 50. Because these are AVC HD clips, I have to convert them, so I'm going to transcode, and then I'm going to create a new clip out of that. I'm going to go ahead and say convert, and it's going to consolidate or transcode this clip onto the computer's hard drive. And so here it created that clip. You see there's no dots here on the side. So if I double click that, and then this clip is actually on my hard drive instead of my card. You would do that for all of yours, and then what you do is you make sure you edit with the clips that say .new01. Don't use the AMA clips. Now, one quick thing here. When you're in the building, normally, after you've consolidated, you would highlight all, and you would hit delete and get rid of these AMA clips. But you'll see this says delete disabled. User can't because they're not logged into production management. There is a way to, it's called a Workgroup Override. I don't like it, and I don't suggest you use it because there's not a lot of benefits to it. But if you wanted to have this function, then you can go up here to Tools, Console, and up here we type in Workgroup, and you see it Workgroup Override, and then you space and turn it on. And if I do that, now it's launched. Now your computer can be a standalone editor away from the system, and then you would have access. The problem is when you turn this Workgroup Override on, you then have to close AVID and relaunch AVID before it takes effect. And it's a pain because then when you come back in the station, you've got to turn that back off to be able to use production management, all that kind of stuff. Really, you can edit in the field without having that override turned on. So I'm going to go back and change it because we're not going to log out. But it is an option. I know some people do use it. So there, we're using functionality. So there, I'm good to go. I'm back to where I was. The only difference is with Workgroup Override on, you can actually delete these AMA clips, whereas here you can't. So what I suggest is just go ahead and consolidate your clips, but then you can do one of two things. You can create a second bin, and then you can drag your new clips into that bin, or you can go ahead and just edit out of this bin, just making sure that you're not selecting these AMA clips because it could give you errors. So assuming that you're good to go, let's say you've edited your story. We're going to create a sequence, and we're going to lay down our video inside here, and then we're ready to export our story. All you do is right click on the sequence, output, media file. We've had another video that shows how to do this. Select desktop, HDV from your drop down, name it, hit save, and it'll export to your desktop. Then it's ready to send through FileZilla to the station. Once you're done and you have closed your bin and you're done, as these bins start to fill up, what you're going to want to do is, I'll just create a new bin, for the heck of it. But this, and I'll close it. But this old bin here that we just edited out of, so this one, let's say that's a day or two old, and we're ready to get rid of that. Highlight it, right click, delete selected items. That's going to throw it in a trash bin. Then you just right click on it and empty trash. Empty. And that gets rid of it. And that's how you kind of keep your bins, or keep it this nice and neat. Don't overfill it, because when you delete that, it also got rid of the AMA clips. So really, the Workgroup Override, while it's there, you don't need to turn it on and off. You can edit in the field with it on, with it off. It doesn't really matter. I would leave the Workgroup Override off. That way you can edit in-house in the field and you're not changing things. It makes it much simpler. But now that we've done this in the field and we've set up, we've edited, we've ingested video and all that kind of stuff, occasionally by consolidating to your hard drive, your laptop is going to eventually get full of files, and you're going to have to delete your consolidated files. And so to do that, let's exit out of AVID, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to safely eject my SD card. Very important that you do that. It looks like it's good to go. Very important that you safely eject your card and not just pull it in and out. It will corrupt and cause all kinds of problems with your card if you're not safely ejecting. And then what I need to do is now I need to clean out my AVID. So and what you can do is up here under your computer shortcut, if you have that. If you don't, just go down here to your folder and go to PC, and you'll see my C drive. I have 320 gigs free out of nearly 500 gigs. So there's not much on there, but when this starts getting up past half, we need to start cleaning some things out. The more stuff in there, the more harder it is on AVID. So to clean this out, what we're going to do is, again, if you're not in this window, go down here to your Documents, File Explorer, and then we're just going to go to C drive, OSC, and up here, AVID Media Files, double click on that, double click on MXF, double click on 1, and then all these files right here, these MXF files, are all AVID files. And so what I want to do, and see a lot of these 820, there's a lot of stuff in here. 25th, this is stuff I just consolidated today. I want to highlight all of these MXF files because I don't need them. And I'll go ahead and do these as well. And then I'm just going to right click and delete. And that cleaned out my computer. I empty my recycle bin. And if I go back to my PC, or I go through the files here and I go to PC, now I've got 329 gigs. And that's how you keep your laptop clean, keeps it running smoothly. It doesn't hurt every once in a while. Just if anything you need, you need to save it to an external hard drive anyway, and then delete out your files. So that's how we edit in the field. That's how we keep our laptops clean and running smoothly. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, michael.johnson@griffin.news, and I'd be happy to help you. Take care.